What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be doing a drop overview for my track, Bohpit. Let's hop into it.
Let's bop in the beat.
So in this video, I'm going to be going from top to bottom, showing you all the groups soloed, and then specifically, we're going to hop into the sound design section of this and show you some of these crazy sounds. So first up, we've got the drums. Big emphasis on rhythm here. That's what this is all about, rhythm. Yeah, just wrote these in with MIDI. We've got a ride that's pan 24 to the right that you're hearing here. And then we have some using outputs arcade to kind of bring some of this percussion to life. So then when you play those all together. So moving into the low end section, here it is. And it's just a sub that I made inside of Serum. I'll play it with the drums here. And then to quickly touch on the sidechain compression here. Sidechain compression, how did I do the sidechain compression? So in Ableton Live, I use the stock compressor, and it has a sidechain functionality. When you load in the compressor, you just hit the triangle here, and you can turn on the sidechain. You can route where you want the sidechain to go from. So in my case, I'm routing everything to the kick drum. So that means every time the kick drum hits, the source is going to be ducked. It's going to compress and sidechain depending on whatever values I set inside of the compressor. So in this case, everything's routed to the kick drum. I'm compressing at a 2-to-1 ratio at a 0.88 millisecond attack with a 50 millisecond release. So everything is happening relatively quickly because this 808, it's moving, dun, 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 dun. Really need that relationship to be tight and controlled. And it's super simple. You just select your audio from. In my case, I'm going to the drum. In my case, I'm going to the drum rack where my drums are. And then you select what inside of the drum rack. And in my case, that is the kick drum, which is up here. I like to use pre-effects. It just creates a cleaner result in my experience. And we can A/B with the sidechain compression on and with it off. So here's with it on. Now here's with it off. You see how sloppy that is? Look at that kick drum is just bleeding. It's phasing. It's doing a bunch of weird stuff. It's a very sloppy delivery. That's why sidechain is super important. Here it is again with the sidechain off. Listen to how that kick drum is just is falling apart. It sounds awful. Now let's turn the sidechain compression back on and look how clean everything is now. Sidechain compression, get on it. The actual sound design section here we go. This is probably one of my simplest arrangements yet. And then in the second half we have. So that's a 3-piece combo for screeches. Got my pop screeches playing my pops here. We'll go to the start here. Here's my pop screeches. It's a 3-piece combo. One playing down the middle, one pan to the right, and one pan to the left. Not hard pan. These are in Ableton. One is 35 to the right and one is 35 to the left. Here are the pop screeches. And we'll play this with the drums so you can understand the context here. Really, really cool. And then the last layer to this is a Serum patch, which is the sustain, because this is just this song is all about the rhythm, and I want you to just kind of ride and glide over this. So this sustain is all about the ride and glide. Here it is right here. And that sound is being EQ'd very heavily. I've low cut it at 240 hertz, gave it some nice high shelf, took out this crazy sibilance here area in the 10K hertz and another sibilance area in the 2.97 kilohertz. Got an overdrive to kind of beef it up. And the sound itself, very simple. I'm using, it's a 2 oscillator setup using FM from B with the second basic shape to create that tonality in the sustain with a comb filter. That's all the sound is doing, nothing crazy. And then I've got a variation sustain here, which sounds like this. And that is actually, we solo it. It's the second sound here on the second half of the first drop here. It's the same sound, except this time it's not playing at a 2-bar rate. It's playing at a quarter note rate, which is why you hear it going. Very, very simple. Just a slight variation on the sound there. And then I've got my actual sustained screech, which is playing here. Now, this is super important. The screech was super important because when you listen to it, the screech is not annoying. It's not too harsh. It's not too loose. It's tight. It's controlled. It's very specifically in the mix, and that is due to EQ, right? I've made the screech itself in Sylenth 1, But what's making this come together is the EQ. Here's without the EQ. It's just muddy. The mid-range is awful. Now check it out with the EQ. Nice, tight, and controlled, right? I'd give it a nice, slight high shelf to offset some of those mids. I took out some crazy sibilances in harsh frequency areas in the 1.09 kilohertz area and the 2.50 kilohertz area. And I'll go ahead and boost these to let you hear exactly what I'm hearing here. So here's this first one that I took out boosted. That's awful. And then the next one. See that you got to take these things out. You have to sweep through each of your elements and figure out the frequencies that are desired and the frequencies that are not. And definitely take out the ones that are harsh, because it's going to make, especially in a Screech's case, it's going to make it very hard to listen to. So we took those out and they have a clean result. And that, my friends, is the first drop of Bohpit. If you want to see a deeper in-depth breakdown of the different sections of this song, you can do so over at Heart Academy, patreon.com/Heart Academy. But other than that, stay tuned for part 2, where we go over the second drop. Enjoy. Boom.